I believe that even if I was to get down, I know I will get up. You know, it doesn't matter what I find. I can decide to sell water tomorrow, right? And I know I'll make the most out of it. I think in the business world, it's also very important to be aware not to be starting things and not finishing them. Starting things and moving around quite a lot, because the journey is not easy. And a lot of people who are hustlers, sometimes they don't see it through. In terms of surviving with one salary, I never advocate for it.
Sure.
We are in a world whereby we have so many talents as human beings. We made with a myriad of hidden talents that we sometimes don't explore.
Thank you for gracing us and giving us your time. I think the key thing that we'd want is for you to actually share some of the nuggets of wisdom that you gained from the time that you were given the certificate and they said you're qualified. It's sorted, right?
Yeah.
But obviously you're still in the journey, and there are things that you can share with other people, because we want your story to also help someone else outside. So you can start maybe like from the time they spanked you and say, and then, just share with the other.
Yeah.
How do you know she cried?
I think that's the routine.
Well,
all the babies.
That's what shows you're alive.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you so much for having me. I'm really grateful to be on this platform today, to be sharing about myself.
Yeah.
So my name is Yolisa Tshabalala. I was born Yolisa Makhohliso,
Okay.
born in the Eastern Cape.
Okay.
In a small town called Umtata. Don't know if you've heard of it.
Yes.
Umtata, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So I was born and bred there.
Okay.
I'm the last born of 3.
Wow.
Last born.
Okay. Yeah, I get you. I understand. Sorry.
And my parents, my mother was a staff nurse.
Oh. Okay.
And my father was a hustler.
Oh. Okay.
So he took gigs from truck driving, taxi driver, to driving cranes.
Okay.
The list is long.
Wow.
Grew up there, and I'm told, because I don't remember this part, but I'm told that when I was turning 5 years, that year, my parents didn't have money to pay for preschool because my dad had just been retrenched. I think he was a bus driver at the time.
Okay.
Got retrenched.
When you're getting 5.
Yeah, when I was turning 5 that year. But I was not 5 yet because my birthday is in March. And what happened was they waited for me to turn 5 years old.
Okay.
On the 5th of March, my dad put me on his back, my sister's uniform, and off he took me to school at the age of 5.
Wow.
And if you remember, back in the day, I'm exposing my time. Back in the day, for school, you had to...
6 or 7 or something.
Yeah, you needed to be 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And they would actually measure by your hand, whether your hand, this one can reach this ear over your head.
Yes,
you remember that? Yes. You're exposing your age as well.
I read it somewhere.
So that's what my dad did. Took me to the school, and obviously my hand could not reach, but he was a good negotiator. Negotiated for me to be in school, and I'm grateful for it. So I've always been with people who are 2 years ahead of me at school. I struggle to even relate with my age group till today. Yeah, as a person.
I get you.
So fast forward. I went to a public school, which they could afford at the time. And then when my mom started working, then they could afford to take me to a Model C school in town called Excelsior Comprehensive School in Umtata still. Matriculated there, and I was a bookworm. Grew up bookworm, introvert.
Okay.
Introvert, even though I think I'm an introvert, extrovert.
Okay.
In certain spaces, I do attract a crowd.
Yeah.
But in actual fact, I'm an introvert.
You can balance your different energies. That's good.
Yeah. But I think I just loved books because that's where I buried my head, and that's where my parents always instilled that for you to get out of
especially
the
situation. The time that you spoke about.
For us to get out of the situation, education is the key. My dad would always say I didn't get the privilege to actually go to school myself, but as my children, I'm working so that you guys can be able to go to school at the end of the day.
Okay.
So that pushed me and my siblings very hard. And matriculated, I only applied at Wits University because I had told myself I'm going to be an accountant, chartered accountant.
That's your goal before, and said I'm studying, but I just want to be an accountant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had a dream of, I enjoyed accounting, I enjoyed maths, I enjoyed analysis and so forth.
Nice.
And I thought, okay, which career path is out there?
That's in line with my passion.
Exactly.
Yes.
And chartered accountancy, I applied at Wits University for the Become Accounting degree. Got in, fortunately, because it was the only application which was risky. Okay. It's the only application I made. Okay. I think anyone who's a learner knows not to do that.
Oh, yeah?
You need to send applications to as many varsities as possible. But I've always been a person who says, if I can target this is where I want to go, I go for it.
That's power.
I give it my all. Right. Yeah. So I was fortunate to get into Wits University, become accounting. But let me tell you the story. This is where it gets interesting now. Yeah. So all my high school life, I've always been either top of the class.
Okay.
First or second. There's a lady we used to exchange with, I get to Wits University.
Okay.
As I explained to you, from the Eastern Cape, in a township that is almost semi-villagey type thing, get to Wits, and boy, oh boy, what an adjustment that was.
Yeah.
The environment, it exposed a whole lot. Yeah. I started feeling small. I started feeling like, I don't speak like these people.
Oh, okay.
I don't speak like these people. Even the experiences, it's very rare. At the time, it was very rare to find people who grew up the same way that you did.
Okay.
It was full of people from Gauteng, Northwest. They were exposed to a different life. Whereas in the Eastern Cape, my exposure was quite closed off growing up. So I think that actually shifted and impacted my character a bit. But at the same time, I believe it was important in terms of exposure, because remember, any layer of exposure also exposes a different kind of Yolisa.
Oh, yes.
Right. Yeah. So I had to learn to get out of my shell. I had to learn to I had to learn to find my confidence, to say, is your confidence defined by you being top of the class everywhere you go?
No, yes.
Right? Do you hear what I'm saying? Yeah. Is your confidence going to be defined by you being top of the class, coming from a certain family that is well off? Okay. So I had to work on myself quite a lot during that time. It was not easy though.
Yeah, because you actually had a picture before you went to Wits, right?
Yeah.
You had an expectation, actually.
That's right.
Like, there's this type of people that are there, and will I fit in with what? So you already put yourself, you had created another persona of yourself, comparing with these people.
I don't think I created a persona before.
No, for where you are getting to.
Yeah.
You're saying, if I had a chance to create a Yolisa for Wits, this Yolisa should be like this.
I doubt I even went through those thoughts.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think for me, it was a matter of, this is what I want to do in terms of career.
Okay.
This is my goal in terms of career. But what I didn't consider is the other aspects of it. The personality, you know, the character that's required, you know.
Yes.
And I think maybe any other person would have thought about it before to imagine what must it be like, you know, in Joburg and coming from the Eastern Cape. But I didn't. I actually didn't think about it, which is making me think now. Maybe that's why it was a shock to my system when I got there, right? The contrast was too big for me, and I had to adjust, you know. I had to adjust to it because, like I said, people spoke differently. I was no longer top of the class. There's many people who are there. They are all cream. They are all cream of the crop wherever they are coming because they are vets, right? So it was a different ball game, which almost did bring a bit of imbalance.
Do you remember an incident where something like that happened, where now you had to sit and you're like, oh my goodness, what is going on, and how did you overcome it? Or even if you didn't overcome it, like what happened? What was that incident that gave you that initial shock to say, oh my word, I'm no longer top of the class, or I speak like this, or I'm not from this background?
The first shock was O week. I don't know if you know about O week. Orientation week. Yeah, orientation week. That was a shock to my system because, but it helped at the same time because in res, you are all there coming from different backgrounds. You don't know these people. You expected to mingle with new people. Like I said, they speak differently. They come from different backgrounds. You saw they were dropped off by a Porsche. They were dropped off by a Merc. And immediately you feel small. Do I fit in? And so forth. So that was the first initial shock for me, if I'm being honest. And then academically, the first shock was a statistics class. I've always been a maths guru. Like, I'm talking 100% 90s in maths throughout. Get to vets, stats class. My teacher, I can't remember her name, and I used to remember her name, this lady, white lady. Beautiful person, the best at what she does. She spoke so fast, I couldn't understand her. I couldn't follow that stats class to the point that I think I passed by maybe 50s, 50s or 60s, somewhere there.
It's expected. It's a new subject as well.
It's a new subject, but I think more than anything, I even had to. Well, I eventually made beautiful friends that I connected with. I could fit in, and there were introverts and bookworms like me, and so forth, right? So that helped. And at some point, I was honest with them to be like, and like, I don't understand. And it helped because then, you had people to share with, you had people to ask questions, and you don't feel judged, So it was quite an adjustment.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. Yeah. I can imagine that shock.
Yeah. So fast forward to that, from that, second year, I flunked accounting.
Oh, and that's the subject you loved?
The subject I love.
Wow. How was that?
That crushed me.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I promise you it crushed me. And I think at that time, I felt like, should I even go back? And I remember when I got my results, I was with my sister. She lives in the UK. So I visited her at the time. Okay. So I got my results while on holiday, and I didn't say anything to anyone. I kept it to myself and dealt with it.
Sure.
And a whole lot of things were going on in my head to be like, are you even worthy? You thought this is your thing, right? But the results are saying something else. All your friends are going to be moving on to the next class, and you're left behind alone. And for me, I think the contrast was just too much, and that's why I could have crashed, even mentally and emotionally. But I had to put my big panties on, go back, fetch my results, face my parents.
Yeah.
You know, but I was
always tough. Eh?
Yeah, I was
When-
fortunate to have parents that were, you know, understanding, supportive,
brilliant.
and they were like, you know, encouraging me. You know, at least you still have another chance.
Yeah.
You're not completely out. It's
Yeah.
just that subject doesn't define you. But you know, you have to keep on hearing that, saying that to yourself. You have to find it in you to still continue with the same subject, because then you're also faced with, you know, questions of, is this even worth it? Is it still even my thing?
Yeah.
Right? And what I didn't mention was that first year, I was actually selected by one of the big 4 firms,
Oh,
PwC.
that's always a dream for someone in accounts.
Exactly. And I even did vacation work.
Oh,
I
for
did
them.
I did vacation
Wow,
work
you've
for
got
them.
green blood, eh?
June, December,
Yeah.
and in December, this is first year.
And you're
I've
still
just
in- yeah,
rewinded. This
yeah.
is very first year.
Yeah, it's
But trust you me, I realized that accounting is actually not for me in
Okay.
terms of auditing. I realized that auditing is not for me. I was still passionate about accounting,
yeah.
but the auditing side, I was
Yeah.
like, it's just not me.
Just one part of accounts.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I took the bold step then at the end of first year to inform them that I don't want to continue.
Wow.
So imagine if I had gone through with them, it would have been worse.
Yeah.
Because then you would have been kicked out of the bursary. You could, at least I'm grateful for the fact that I was bold enough to take that step to know myself, which is something else that I think a lot of people doubt themselves about. What is it that you actually enjoy? You know, and it's not popular for you to change your mind. Even your parents, like they get shocked. What do you mean? You're not going to be a chartered accountant. We're going to have a chartered accountant in this family.
They're already counting.
You get what I'm saying?
They're checking the
But
salary.
Nina, I didn't say anything to my parents
Okay.
because I was still in the BCom stream. So I still continued with it, but I knew I'm not going to be an auditor.
Yeah, sorry, hold on. Yolisa. What is it that you really got? Because from what you speak, is saying, right, from the time, it seems like your environment was teaching you or giving you that space to explore you. Because like when you started, you said, I wanted this, and I went for this. When you're there now, you're getting to Wits, now you're saying, no, this is not for me. I don't know what you selected. I'm yet to hear, but you could, because I can hear a lot of confidence. Is it coming from the parents? Is it coming from the environment? What is it? Or the last born mentality?
I don't think so. The last part, no.
Okay.
I'll tell you. I'll tell
keep
you
it.
why I'm
Okay.
saying no.
Okay.
I think, my mom has always told me that I'm stubborn. Growing up, she would always say, you are the most stubborn child I have. Like, I think I'm blessed in the sense that at least I would voice my opinion in terms of this is what I think, this is what I want, this is what works for me, this is what doesn't work for me.
Nice.
But to be honest, the conviction that I got when you have such an opportunity, I mean, this is the big 4. I don't know till today what convinced me there.
didn't
Maybe
apply,
it was
right?
God, because if I had chosen the straight chartered accountancy route, I could have been stuck there, right?
On the 4th year or something, that's when you're...
Yeah. So I think it was a blessing, really, to have that kind of conviction. But I think Verts really, I got to know about me. I got to discover myself. I got to actually draw, what's on the inside of me against the odds. Because I experienced failure for the very first time. I'm in a new environment that, I haven't been exposed to coming from the small town, so there were many firsts, but a lot of discovery of who I am actually outside of the environment I was closed in.
That's why I was saying she's got green blood. Do you know it's very tough for people to really know themselves. It takes time. Some people, you'll continue learning. That's the subject that's tough. Learning about yourself.
Yeah.
And I could pick up a lot of EQ. Understanding your social skills,
Yeah.
connecting with new people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And knowing yourself. Like, you motivated yourself from failing.
Yeah.
Though you didn't tell people initially. But you managed the whole situation.
Yeah.
Because someone would break down. Like, I'm a failure. And then you start labeling yourself as a failure.
As a failure.
And that's what's needed. You know, you need to self-motivate yourself, encourage yourself, go back again and say, I'm going again. Let me see what, and that's powerful.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
very
yeah. And I think that process of learning to get back up again is the most powerful thing ever. And I'm grateful that I went through it, because imagine going through life without failing.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I see people struggling with rejection today.
Yes.
And for me, I'm just like, okay, this is rejection. This door is not for me now, because of the experiences that I've come or gone through.
Yes.
Right.
That's powerful.
So I think, you know, I believe, not that I'm advocating for it, but I think it's part of life. If you don't go through failure of any form, I'm not saying failure at school, but failure of any form, rejection of any form, it actually builds up your character, because that's when you get to know your AQ, actually. I heard you speaking about EQ.
Yes.
And I've learned recently about adversity quotient.
Yes.
So EQ, emotional quotient.
Yes.
I've learned about adversity quotient, which speaks to how quickly you can actually get up in the midst of
From falling.
adversity. And that's something that a lot of people lack today, because EQ, you grow at it. There's a lot of EQ courses. I'm actually going to start a course on AQ.
On AQ.
AQ.
You know me, right?
Yeah.
We're together, right?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. You know, because adversity quotient is so important. For anyone who's going to make it, for anyone who's going to be a leader one day, you have to learn the art of getting up. You have to learn the art of trying again. You have to learn the art of pushing things, you know, that are weighing you down, and keep going. You know, whether you are crawling, start there. Eventually, you'll get up. Yeah. Anyway, let me go back to go back to Wits. Eventually, I finished at Wits University, and I applied for a graduate program.
Sorry, you finished with which course now?
Become accounting.
Accounting, okay.
So luckily, the course that I had chosen was Become Accounting, which is still Become Accounting.
Yes.
But I was not fixated to the straight CA route.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow,
so I still
brilliant.
qualified with the Become Accounting qualification, but I didn't take it further. Excuse me.
No, that's cool.
Yeah. So I then applied for the NetBank graduate program.
Okay.
And I can't remember how many we were on the NetBank graduate program. Again, because this is me. I applied when I had not graduated as yet.
How?
So I was on a graduate program and I was not a graduate at the time.
Nice.
I was not a graduate at the time, but I applied anyway.
You were just pushing yourself and say, let me just do it.
If that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
That's the company I want.
That's powerful.
That's where I'm going. And I think that's something that we stop ourselves a lot of times. I can tell many stories of how I applied in spaces where I did not qualify. And I ended up being
that's the
selected.
belief as well, eh?
Yeah.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah. So I was part of the NetBank graduate program. And 6 months in, they offered me a permanent job. They took me out of the graduate program. It was a 12-month program. And they offered me a permanent job because someone in the department resigned, and I already knew his job. I was his stand-in anyway, because every space where I'm at, I want to know what Lina does, what Kuta does, I want to understand, how do you do what you do? How can I add value?
Yeah.
You know, are there other ways of doing it better?
Yeah.
Right? So I've always been a person like that. So I got into the department, I would sit with everybody, and I would know what they do on a daily basis. So that's how I got my first permanent job.
Yeah, we must write that book, the training for the
AQ.
Yeah,
I think it's one of the things I
you've got
really...
the traits, so we'll get that tacit knowledge from you to put it in there.
No, I really am going to write a book about that.
We're going to officially announce it. Should we? Co-author. Let's do it. It's coming soon.
So, 3 years into working at Nedbank, I realized, so I was a financial analyst in Nedbank Corporate. That was my title there. And it exposed me to the accounting side as well as analysis. So I used to code as well, IT coding. I used to code to get, you know, data, results, analyze how's the bank doing, how are the assets doing, report to stakeholders, etc. And then I realized this is actually what I enjoy, the analysis part of it. Yes, it's got a financial side to it, but the analysis part is Then I started researching which job will take me closer to what I love. Then I learned about the consulting space. Yes, management consulting. And then I applied at Accenture. At Accenture for a business and process analyst. No experience as a business and process analyst.
Wow, nothing.
Nothing.
Wow.
I just applied, and they took me in. Accenture took me in, and that's where my consulting career actually started. And then I was a consultant throughout my career.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's
brilliant.
So from, I think my dad, up until the day he passed on, God bless his soul, but up until that day, he believed I'm an accountant. He would ask me, what is it that you do? I would explain. And then when he tells his friends, she's an accountant.
I know. My dad is like that. He thinks I'm going to be a doctor.
Is it?
Yeah, he just
still calls you doctor till today.
He said, let's accept it as it is.
Yeah,
it's okay.
yeah.
There are doctors of computers, it's fine.
Yeah. Doctor of computers, that's right.
It's okay. Put them at ease, make sure they're happy as well.
Yeah. So, that's how my consulting career started. And then Yolisa being Yolisa, life was tough. I was just like, what can I do? So I was always looking for business. What can I do in the business space? So throughout my career, I've had cleaning. I had a cleaning business.
Really?
I had a mobile hair and beauty salon before it became famous to have mobile hairstylists. Even what's this company that does cleaning services? I think it's Clean South. Is it Clean Sweep South?
Yeah.
Before Sweep South was there, I was already doing what they are doing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but I had to close those companies down because I had a full-time job. And trust you me, dealing with that kind of business, it needs you to be full-time because it requires you to be there, managing the people, because people cancel last minute. Someone is going to work and they've booked the service. You must make it happen. So what must happen? Yolisa must go and clean.
Yeah, if they don't come, then because it's your name on the line.
Yeah. So that's why I couldn't continue with those businesses.
Wow.
But I've always tried businesses either alone or with other people as well. And then came a time where we started a book club with a couple of friends, and we also tried to start businesses with them. That didn't work out.
Wow.
Because we are not all into business, right? Some of them actually came out and say, guys, I know you guys are driven for this. It's just not me, which is we appreciate it at the end of the day. Up until we realized with my current business partner at Imizizi, because I now own a company called Imizizi.
Nice.
Up until we realized that actually we're the only two who are passionate about business.
Nice.
How about we start a business of our own? And that's how Imizizi was birthed.
Nice.
And we were both in the consulting space, and we saw the gap. Okay, so here, as consultants, what is it that's not done right? Where can we fill the gap? How can we position ourselves? How can we add value?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
When you closed down your businesses, did you feel like a failure at some point, or was it just, it is what it is?
I don't think I took it personal.
Okay.
I think with those ones, I was very certain of I had given it my all, but the circumstances did not allow, right? I mean, even the salon one, there's a lady who was doing my hair, and I brought her in. I ended up giving her the contacts, because, and everything. I was like, you do it, because I didn't take it personal. It was that business at that time is not going to work. I'm actually a hindrance for it growing.
For progress.
Yeah.
So when you let it, did you let everything go? Like everything?
Everything. I gave her the posters, how to advertise, and all of that, the clients, the contacts, and everything. And I walked away.
Interesting.
And with a clean heart. I did not even have regrets.
Nice.
Yeah. The Sweep South one, though, looking at how Sweep South, their strategy and how they've made it work, maybe if I had maybe implemented a different strategy where I don't have to be heavily there. But at the time, it was just not working, because I was doing the interviews. I would sit at Mike and Bean in town.
Okay.
What's that bus station? Called, I forgot the name of that bus station. There's a Mug and Bean there. Cleaners would come from everywhere, because remember, you needed reach. So I would have cleaners from East Rand, from West Rand, from Joburg South.
So that was your office?
That was my office. I would sit there, and they would come. I would interview them, and CBD, in CBD. I forgot the name of the place. It's famous, man. It's famous. I think the Mug and Bean is still there, if I'm not mistaken.
So
I would sit there.
I'm trying to figure out what place this is.
Where the metro bus with the tags. There's a name. There's a name for it. Gandhi Square. That's right. That's right. Thank you. Yeah, Gandhi Square, Mug and Bean. That's where I would sit the whole Saturday.
Just say that was my office.
That was my office.
Yeah.
Yes, make it fancy. Make it fancy. That was my office.
Wasn't he at Gandhi Square with his laptop using the Wi-Fi?
Yes.
Yes, he was.
Really?
Like that's how he went into. He's got a business now for SEO and stuff. He's an expert in that space, and that's he used to come and access the internet.
Yeah.
And that's how he taught himself. And he changed from applying for jobs to giving people proposals.
Wow.
And then that's how you built himself.
And that's how it starts, eh?
Yeah. It's got a lot of stories. We need to go there and sit there, sit in your office.
You sit in my office, you go back in time.
That's powerful.
Yeah, but it was amazing, man. It was really amazing. I would go there. Nice. Sit with the ladies, interview them, take down their details. I would know I have backup and I have a booking here. And star rating. I didn't have it then. I starred people here based on customer feedback. So based on what the customer is saying, then I know that, Lina is my best. So then I would push Lina a lot in that area because she's the best and she brings more clients.
Wow.
Didn't have a system. Yeah. All I had was forms because I was a business analyst. I was very structured. Nice. I would have forms, they would sign, they would apply, they would, form all the whole process. Yeah. But I let go of that business But I didn't feel like a failure.
So, but from all the initial businesses before this current one that you've got, what one thing have you learned from that? I know you left all of them with a clean heart. You must be very clean heart.
Yeah.
What one thing did you really learn from it, or something that you can share with someone that starts a business and then they get to some point, then it doesn't work or whatever happens, and then you go into the hair business again, and then it doesn't work, and then later on you go book club, and all that stuff. So what is it that you can share with people in terms of starting something and going, starting something and then going?
So one thing that I can say is that whatever it is that you do, do it with all you've got. Give it your all. Like, you don't know which business is going to be the one. I think I've read many books, inspirational books, people who've made it. And there's a common thread, and it's not a lie. It's not just, people wanting to sound clever and whatnot. It's actually true. If you give it your all, this one might not work out this time. Then you try another one, but don't go into it already feeling like a failure, or it's not going to work out, or let's see. I've seen people go into business with a let's see attitude, and not all of them make it, unfortunately. But if you give it your all, the one that's actually going to make it, you will see it. It will prove itself. But the others are there as points of lessons for you. So take away the lessons. I mean, from the business, working with cleaners and so forth. There, I learned how to work with people. I learned a lot of people skills. I don't like talking to people a lot.
Introvert. Now you can pull out your
but I learned how to talk with people, how to deal with people, how to deal with challenging situations, how to make a plan.
It's not easy.
Where it's not easy, and how to you have a customer service, that's screaming on the other side of the line, and you have to find a way of calming them down and finding a solution at the end of the day. So each one comes with its own lessons. And today I own a couple of businesses, and through all of them, I think the one thing that you must always do is to give it your all.
Nice, 100%.
Yeah,
that's power. And you see, now I understand. I think it also came from how you were growing up as well. How you managed the business experiences, the ups and downs, because you also had the ups and downs initially before.
Yeah.
And because already you're a different breed. I want it. I'll do whatever it takes to get it there, which is quite powerful, because I think a lot of people, if we do that in anything that we do, you can quickly see where you are. There was this guy who was talking about, like, how do you really know that accounting is your thing? Okay, what if you're a mechanic? You haven't even exposed yourself in that space.
That's right.
What if you are a carpenter? You haven't exposed yourself. I guess that's why in school, like preliminary, they give us an option of experiencing food science, knitting and sewing and stuff, so that from there you start to see what makes your left ventricle tick, and then you build from it.
And I think, with that, I think this generation that's coming after us, more especially, they're actually quite fortunate, because
the ones that don't.
No, the ones that don't, they are very fortunate, because they actually are given that opportunity to explore themselves, right? Like, to your point, that a lot of people would ask that, how do you know this is for me and this is not for me?
Yes.
And it comes with exposure. It comes with you being aware. I think one thing about me is, besides, the stubbornness and whatnot, I think I have that thing of being aware. How does this make me feel?
Yes.
What what do I enjoy?
Yes.
I'm quite good at this, even though I might not enjoy it, but I'm still good at it.
Yeah.
This one, I enjoy it the most. I don't yet know how to do it, but I can learn, how to do it because I enjoy it. So you give it your all, right?
Yeah.
So I think people should not stop themselves because they haven't explored much about it. It's all about explore. Be aware as you're exploring, and then speak to yourself. Who is Yolisa at the end of the day? Who
Yeah.
do you want to be?
Yes.
And do you want to be a grumpy person who's continuing with what you don't really like? Or would you rather shift now, take the bullets,
Yes,
but at the end of the day, you know that when you're fulfilled, when you're content,
Yes.
that's all that matters.
I love that. Self-awareness is power. Because
It is.
also when it comes to achieving your goals now, you're not doing it for the people.
No.
You're doing it for you.
Yeah.
The inside. And then once you get there, even if it's something that people don't like, whatever, as long as you get there, you're good.
Yeah.
You can go anyway. Which builds your confidence
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Do you consider yourself a hustler?
There was someone in the family like that. There was someone in the family. Maybe
I would
DNA, like.
say so, even though other people have negative connotations to the word hustler. But I would say in the context of, I believe that even if I was to get down, I know I will get up. It doesn't matter what I find. I can decide to sell water tomorrow, right? And I know I'll make the most out of it. So I think I'm a hustler in that sense. But I think in the business world, it's also very important to be aware not to be starting things and not finishing them. Starting things and moving around quite a lot because the journey is not easy. And a lot of people who are hustlers, sometimes they don't see it through. So hence why I said even earlier, for as long as you've given it your all, and you reach a stage where you're like, in actual fact, this is not going to work for this and this and this reason. And it's all valid at the end of the day. And you know your standpoint and your circumstances at that time. But in terms of surviving with one salary, I never advocate for it.
Yes.
I don't advocate for that one. I think we are in a world where anything can happen tomorrow.
True.
We are in a
That's
world
very true.
whereby we have so many talents as human beings. We made with a myriad of hidden talents that we sometimes don't explore. I could sit here and say, okay, now I've reached my plateau. I'm a director of this big organization and whatnot, and relax. But no, I still have so much more to give. I still have so much more that I don't know tomorrow what shape or form it's going to take. But I know that it's going to take a different shape or form, and it requires a different kind of Yolisa. At the end of the day. So I'm all for people should always be pushing themselves. Push yourself beyond your boundaries, right?
That's
As much as I'm an introvert and I have my moments of sitting there and whatnot, but in that, find your space of saying, this is what I want to do. This is how I'm going to spread myself.
Yeah.
As long as you are enjoying it, as long as you are passionate about it, I promise you that's where you'll add the most value. Because it's about adding value at the end of the day. Every business is looking for value. If you're not adding value, customers will get tired of you. You'll be out of business. You'll be out of season at the end of the day.
What do you think of the mindset that for you to start a business, you need capital?
That one. I like being controversial.
Okay.
Do it.
But it's the truth. You don't need capital to start a business. You don't need capital. I think people get so frustrated when they hear that, and they say to people, yeah, it's very easy for you guys who've made it to say that or to put it like
Yes.
that. Trust you me, for some of us where things were not easy for us,
Yes, even
you
growing
know,
up, yeah.
we're saying that statement from a place of knowing. You need to start somewhere, right? Start
Definitely.
something. And people will also fund people who are doing something, right? Yes, an idea can be funded, but even that, it's an idea that is feasible, has been well researched, there's a market there, and, you know, it's not just funding or capital for something that is zero, non-existent. So I'm a firm believer of, if you want to own a chain store tomorrow, start selling sweets in that school. Start a spaza shop. And then from that one spaza shop, you keep building. Before you know it, you have a chain store, right? And yes, different seasons and different phases of the business require capital. I'm in that phase right now because every stage of the business requires a certain level of capital, right? That's why there's venture capitalists, there's funders, there's this, there's that. But to start, trust you me, you don't. Yes, you might need a little bit of money to buy those sweets, right?
Yes.
That we can't shy away. And there's people who don't even have that. So that's where now you find people who are creative, who say, okay, instead of me sitting here, I can spend 90 days thinking about the fact that I don't have capital. Or I could bake scones, go to the streets, make 3,000 Rand in the 3 months. That's my capital to actually start. But people stop themselves with, I want that, so I'm not willing to do that. But you could do something else to fund what you actually want to do.
Okay.
That's actually interesting, because I liked what you mentioned to say you have to be creative about it, because you can see someone, because they say sometimes just look in your space, who can assist. But what's important is, if I come and ask Yolisa and say, Yolisa, can I please have 10 Rand? I'll go buy the sweets, I'll give you back 12 Rand
That's
in
right.
10 days. It's because I'll get that, because I've given you an incentive for you giving me money. But what's important, like you mentioned, you have to have confidence in yourself, and you have to do it.
That's right. Even the one that you don't want to do.
Yeah, and go and sell, and then you get your extra, but you come back and say, and you can still ask this and say, okay, you get the 2 Rand for now.
Yeah.
Can I keep the 10 Rand again? Let me go back, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna give you more.
Yeah.
Because now you've increased your sweets now.
Can I tell you something interesting, Ne?
Yeah.
As Yolisa,
Yes.
I was a team leader
Okay.
at a certain company.
Yes.
And you can imagine now, I'm climbing up the corporate ladder.
Yes.
There's a certain status that people attach to you and so forth.
Yeah.
But because I knew where I want to be, I hustled.
Yeah.
I hustled and I sold products. And I would stand at home affairs. Home affairs, yes.
Huh?
Home affairs with a table selling products. I would go to the court or police station
Yeah.
with a suitcase selling products.
Wow.
A whole me at that time, and people did. And those who knew, they would ask me, they would question, is it greed? Because you have...
Because they've got a certain assumption in terms of your status now.
Yes, you have money. Why are you doing that? Why are you standing on the streets selling this? Why have you,
But
brought yourself
life
down?
hasn't ended. You need to create... You see this thing of thinking that it's just going to be a pension.
Exactly.
You still have to be, building more.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing that we actually need to work on in helping each other. The stereotyping. That's why I was asking you when you were going through that. Did you create a certain persona for where you're going at fees that it should be like this? So now if someone speaks like this, because you're unique.
Yeah.
Apparently, you've got your only fingerprint.
Yeah.
We tried.
Yeah.
We couldn't get it. You're the only one. So, is it because we need to get to a point where we believe in ourselves? Anything that we want to do, we believe in ourselves. And then we start to push from there. Because that's the only person that you can go in a court and stand for yourself.
Exactly.
And say, yeah, I know this guy.
Yeah.
And in the mirror, I know him.
Yeah.
If you can't do that, then even in any business, like you were saying, start. And if you believe in yourself, see the results. If you give hundreds, you like 100. Hey, I think you're getting 100% top performer. But if you do that, that's gonna help you like get to the next level. You'll see what's yours and what's not. And it's better if you see it early, because the other thing that's actually important that we need to realize is we don't know tomorrow.
That's right.
We know now.
Yeah.
We don't know when we sleep.
Yeah.
We don't know tomorrow.
Yeah. And you know what's the other thing I like to encourage people, especially parents,
Yes.
is you have an opportunity to instill that confidence in a young life. If you are a mentor, because parents doesn't mean just the people you've given birth to. You know, if you have a mentor or someone who's looking up to you, you have an opportunity to actually teach them about those things. You have an opportunity to make them know that they are enough.
Yes.
They are enough. You know, that self-conviction that you're talking about.
Yes.
I believe that if you get that at a young age, right,
you'll be unstoppable.
the sky is not even the limit.
No, you
right?
won't see it.
There's no ceiling. Not at all, right? And that's so important that people must know they are enough. Whatever it is that they decide to do, the DNA that they have, the uniqueness that they have is all that they need, right? The rest of it they acquire along the way as toolbox. Into their toolbox, right? Toolbox set, and it's enough for you to carry you on your path and just maneuver and find your way.
Yeah, that's far.
What's the craziest thing you did during your university days to fit in?
To fit in?
Yeah, and then afterwards you were like, yo,
because you had new
what
friends,
did I do?
right? You had new friends.
The craziest thing I did. Yo.
Trying to fit in.
Trying to fit in.
Yeah, because remember you coming from Tata, from like a small thing, and you thinking it's small, and I want to.
Some of the things might be crazy to me, maybe not to other people. They might be boring.
We realize you are different. We accept everyone. Signed.
I think one of them was drinking.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I wasn't used to drinking. But even that, I mean, it wasn't excessive or passing out or things like that. But I did that. And then the other one was, I think, in all week.
Okay.
During that very first orientation week, during that very first week, I would dress up to fit in.
Oh, okay.
Right. Skimpy clothes and you know when you're out of character, you can just imagine how uncomfortable. You can just spot this one. I thought.
Which one is
it's not you. This one is not you, right? So and then afterwards you're like, why did I do that? You know, just to fit in. You know, but it's part of the process of knowing. In actual fact, I won't do that. I don't care. I'll go with my jeans and t-shirt. I'll be fine. Right.
Cool.
Yeah, I think those are the
craziest. Okay, tell us a story where you failed in business. We don't want to know how you overcame it. I just want you to say, as Yolisa, I tried this, failed. Yeah.
Besides the ones I've already told. Besides those.
From when you went to the consulting thing, I sent you. Is that when you started the businesses, or you were already?
No, the business I started at
After.
7. This you mean Imizizi?
No, not Mzizi. Like the ones that.
The ones that are already at Nedbank. My very first job. Already there, I was already doing.
Maneuvering.
Yeah, I was already hustling. The minute I got my car, I then started.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So back to your question of failing, I think can I tell a story of? But I think I'll need to complete it with how I got back up.
Yeah.
The very first big client that we were going to be in front of, BMW South Africa, right? Biggest opportunity of a lifetime. We prepare with my with Imizizi, with my business partner.
Yeah.
We prepare, and here we are. We get first, even before we get there, we forgot to check how far is this place. You assume an hour. It's in Gauteng.
I'm not laughing
We
at
should
you.
be.
I'm happy. You got the experience.
Yeah, like you think an hour we should be fine. My business partner and I.
Yeah.
I was driving a small car.
Yes.
And it had a spare tire. And you know the maximum speed limit is 80 kilometers on a spare tire.
Oh, yes.
That meeting was in the morning. Can't remember the exact time. I think it was 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
9 o'clock in the morning, somewhere there. In Roslyn. On the other side of Pretoria, in the Blants.
Sure.
Right? We are coming from Rodiport. Peak hour traffic. Right? Here we are.
Meeting time was?
Hey, meeting time. I can't remember if it was 9 or 10.
Okay.
One of the two, 9 or 10. Here we are driving. Imagine, first impressions last.
Yes. That's
If you get to a meeting like that late, you're not taking them serious, right? So I had to make a plan. I had to step on it. The car was shaking like.
Anaconda gold reefs.
Yeah, and you can imagine by the time you get there, you are flustered.
Yeah.
You are panicking. You're not in your A game.
Yeah, true.
You walk into this room, it's full of probably 8 or 9. And these people, white Indians, there's no black person there.
Wow.
And it's a grilling session.
Oh, okay.
And I can admit to it that we didn't do well.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We didn't do well.
Besides you setting, standards that are like way.
And for me, I'm a person who likes order. I like
Yeah.
order. I like process. I like
Yeah, you went into consulting early.
So we let ourselves down, right? And my voice was even letting me down. It was shaking. I felt like I'm gonna cry.
No.
Like every sentence,
Yeah.
I felt like I'm gonna cry, but still continued in the midst of it with that voice being flustered. What these people might be thinking about us, we still went through with it. And whatever it is that we said, that little thing that we said, we got a call. And the call said, you guys sucked. You guys were bad.
Blunt, they told you like that.
Blunt, like that.
Sure.
It was bad. But you know what? We're calling you back for a second round.
Wow.
I
We
promise
need to dissect
you.
You got green blood. Eh? We need to dissect you. You probably got green blood. I tell you.
So I promise you, like, they told us that, they called us back, and that's all we needed. One thing I forgot to say is that we were crying with my business partner the whole way back.
Yeah.
The whole way back home, because we knew
you
that
started on your own, giving yourself a result,
and we knew
before
that
you-
we didn't do well. We knew that we sucked, right? But in all of that, I'm really grateful that we were called back, and BMW is still our client till today,
that's fine.
right?
That's fine.
Right?
That's
We
fine.
failed
I guess-
dismally,
Yeah.
but the power of trying again, or even continuing in the midst of it all, because someone else could have said, do I even show face being this late? I don't take them, it seems like I'm not taking them seriously and so forth. but we try to explain ourselves with a cracking voice.
Yeah.
You know, I spend the whole hour
You see, that's
with
that's
that cracking voice.
I think that's where, like, you know, confidence also needs to kick in. Yet, you know, yes, you know you're starting on a back foot.
Yeah.
But you still have to be confident enough to just keep that flow because you got the chance.
You know, at that point, you know what kept us? It's the AQ, not the confidence. Our confidence was down. I don't want to lie. Like,
Gone.
everybody could see through it. There was no confidence at all. I mean, there you just want to hide. You just want to say, open ground, I'm ready now. You can take me, right? So there was no confidence. I won't lie to you, right?
Yeah.
But I think it was the AQ kicking in, you know, that pushed through.
Yeah. We'll put this example on page 67 on our book. And then we'll put an example for this and say, yeah, this is
how
exactly,
you do it.
Yeah. One of the authors, listen to me, one of the authors experienced this.
Yeah.
At least when they're signing our book, we'll
know.
explain it to them. Yeah. But that's power.
Yeah.
That's power.
Yeah.
No, that's good. No, thank you. I wanted to ask you, there's one important question that we always ask before we get there. Yolisa, what makes you smile?
What makes me smile?
Yes.
A lot of things make me smile.
What makes you smile?
My husband makes me smile.
Nice.
God makes me smile every day.
Nice.
When I wake up in the morning, I'm like, another opportunity. I'm still alive.
Nice.
And especially when I see him moving things in alignment for me, it makes me smile. Another thing that makes me smile is the fulfillment of giving back to someone else and seeing them fly.
Wow.
There's no better feeling, you know, when you've given without any expectation, when you see the results. Nothing, I promise you, like, they don't even, sometimes you give without people knowing.
Yeah.
They don't even need to know.
Yeah, it's not for everyone.
But when you're seeing them fly,
Yes.
that's all. That's what makes me smile.
Wow.
Content.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, that's powerful.
Yeah.
No, that's powerful. Sure. I didn't want to tell you this, earlier on when you were explaining. I'm also a March baby.
Really?
Yeah. I also went to school 4, turning 5.
Are you serious?
Quite early, yeah.
Co-authors.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
like,
this book is going to write it. They must know.
Which date? In March?
18 March.
18 March.
You
I'm on the
five.
5th of March.
5th of March.
Yeah.
Just a few.
March babies.
It's-
we are
it's
calm,
quite,
man.
It's quite powerful.
We are calm and we know ourselves.
Yes. and that's powerful. I think one thing that I picked up as well is, like I was explaining earlier, a lot of us from the African side of things, most of us, we grew up in communities. Like, there was a guest previously who was saying, my family is just me, my wife and kids.
Yeah.
Right? And then, I do extend, but that's family to me. To us, it's uncles, aunties, and all that stuff.
Bonke.
We're there. And with that, also it influences our traits and behavior as well. And we've grown up in a space where we constantly thinking about others before saving us first, even though in the plane they say you first before the next, but we constantly think about others before us. And that's where this black text also comes in, this title and stuff. We need to get to a point where we understand that, right? That this is how it is. This is how we grew up. However, we can also switch also and get some traits that usually the European style, before you move from this house to another, they ask you, Yolisa, are you ready for us to move? What do you think about us moving from Mtata and going to Parktown? What do you think? And say, I know I've got friends that, no, we have to convince you as parents. Yeah. Tomorrow, Yolisa, pack your bags.
Pack. Why are we packing?
Yeah.
I even ask too many questions.
Yeah, you ask too many, exactly. And that's what we now encouraging when you're growing up. Like, ask, be curious. You must ask for you to get to. Because don't just follow. No. Just don't just follow. Learn, and then do it your own. Because you're different.
Yeah.
You're different, and we need that value from you. Because now, if we're following, then it means it's done, right? It's done. It's one person who did it, but we can change.
You know, with what you're saying, you know why I disputed when you said you behave like a last born. I might behave. I might. No,
I was just trying to hint something.
I know. But let me tell you a story. I'm sure I do behave like a last born with some things. Yeah. I know I was spoiled in comparison to my siblings. In comparison.
Oh, okay.
In comparison.
Oh, okay.
As a last born, at least I got the better parts in some ways.
Yeah.
But I don't believe I behave like a last born because of that black tax. Right?
Yes,
because as you can imagine, depending on where you are in life, you have to now start wising up and thinking about your family, thinking about that extended family, you know.
Yes.
And because now when you start having access to certain things, access to funds, access to this, access to that, then you're no longer seen as the last born, just the last born.
Yes.
Because now people start looking up to you for certain things. People start coming to you for certain things, right? And that comes with responsibilities, and that comes with a certain type of you that you need to now
to
wear
activate.
and
activating yourself,
exactly. And this past weekend, though, I just heard something very, very powerful. Right? I think for people like, I think you might be the same as well. For people like us who are very much about giving, impacting other people, and you know, and you think about the whole community before you think about yourself. Amanda Dambuza, I don't know if you know her. Very influential lady in the business space. She said, you know, it's about time that as you are thinking about impacting other people, think about the impact on yourself. How is this going to impact Yolisa? You know, as you are giving of yourself, are you giving of yourself to empty yourself to the point that you won't be able to give anymore tomorrow? Is Yolisa still intact? That's things that we're not told, because if we start talking like that, then people take it as being selfish.
Yes.
Right? There's a point of being selfish, but I don't think that statement is selfish, because it's saying that with all the responsibilities, the black tax and all these other things that we have, you also must not forget you. And I think many times, especially from our generation, you even forget about yourself.
You do. And you expire early, and then now you can't even help further.
You run out of steam. I've run out of steam before. Run out of steam, you run out of resources, you get yourself into debt, because you can't say no. Because you can't say no, because you're not assertive, because you have that community mentality. I was getting to that. That's what triggered me saying that community mentality. It's all well and good, and I think it comes naturally with us.
It does, because of how we grow up.
How we grew up, and how you want to lift as you are rising. Right? But that workload, can you carry it, all of it? Are you mindful of how much you are actually carrying?
You see,
right?
You're not thinking about it. I always like that analogy from the plane. Because if you're not there, then it's fine. I'll
save
help
yourself.
You.
Save yourself.
But I'm done. I'm gone. Because by the time I save you, I'm
not
gone.
that I'm not gonna save you.
Once I'm ready, it's fine. Let's do it. I'll help you.
But
if it's rough.
That's very powerful.